If you have not seen the horrific video of Iryna Zarutska's murder, you need to. That's just the way it is. Most other media outlets refuse to cover the story because it destroys their narrative. This is not a media story that I'm about to do right now. This is a culture story. I'm going to tell you right now, it is disturbing and hard to watch this video, but it shows where we are in society. We've paused the video right before the moment of the stabbing. 2 weeks ago, the young Ukrainian refugee boarded a local train in Charlotte, North Carolina, a commuter train. She took her seat, you can see her sitting down right there, and was scrolling on her phone like so many of us do. The man behind her watched her for just about 4 minutes. You can see him right there. He's been identified as DeCarlos Brown, a career criminal with 14 felony arrests. Right there, where we've paused it, he pulled out a knife and stabbed her in the throat 3 times. Her brutal and unprovoked murder really now changes the conversation about crime in America and eliminates a full-scale shift in our culture. That's our Why It Matters segment tonight. America is in a George Floyd moment, not about policing, but about crime. That video, remember, 5 years ago of Floyd's death, it changed how we talked about policing. This video has every reason to change the way we talk about crime. Many of you probably haven't seen the video until now. The same legacy media outlets that did wall-to-wall coverage of Floyd have largely ignored this story. And when they finally did talk about it this morning, it was to call anybody who cared or was concerned about this story a racist.
I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman.
So unarmed, innocent woman is killed on a train, and the real problem is racism. That worked 5 years ago. It does not work anymore. This story is as much about race as the George Floyd story was and is. Race is center to this story. George Floyd, the story, was about how police treated Black Americans. The Iryna Zarutska story is about the epidemic of black crime in America. More specifically, it is about how a host of progressive policies keep letting the worst offenders back on the street until they commit crimes like this. Before we go any further, though, we want to tell you about Iryna. She escaped war-torn Ukraine and was setting up a better life for herself in America, in Charlotte. Her obituary describes her as, quote, a gifted and passionate artist who had a deep love for animals, adding that she was happiest when surrounded by family and loved ones. Reportedly, she had a Black Lives Matter poster in her house. Think about that. She escaped war only to get murdered here in America. The irony. Somehow all those folks who talk about Ukraine all the time aren't talking about her now. Coverage, or the lack of coverage on most of the major networks, shows the obvious bias and blindness by most media organizations to what Americans are actually scared about. If you're scared about something, you care about it. So in fact, the mayor of Charlotte praised media outlets for not showing the video. Of course, she doesn't want you to see the video, nor does she want you to see his criminal record. He had 33 run-ins with the law dating back to 2007, 14 arrests, 4 of them for felonies. He recently served 5 years in prison for armed robbery, but was let out early. Shortly after his release, he assaulted his own sister. He was let out after that. But the mayor's statement didn't talk about that. She talked about needing compassion for the alleged killer since he was homeless and had mental illnesses. Anybody who stabs a woman in the throat probably has mental illnesses. But that's the point. For progressives and their friends in the media, they think that crime isn't the criminal's fault. Crime is somehow the fault of a racist country. President Trump offered a much different reaction on Truth Social. He wrote, "The blood of this innocent woman can literally be seen dripping from the killer's knife, and now her blood is on the hands of the Democrats who refuse to put bad people in jail." Those comments came after he offered this earlier.
I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed this morning or last night in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic. Just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible, but just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there. So they're evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
North Carolina's governor, Democrat, appears to understand at least some of the optics of this story. He wrote on X, "We need more cops on the beat to keep people safe. That's why my budget calls for more funding to hire more well-trained police officers." Here's the thing. It is no longer about cops. And we know that because this guy was in jail. He had been arrested by cops, but kept getting let out. So it's not about cops, Governor. It's about Democrats refusing to be honest about who is committing the crimes and the ways to stop it, like ending cashless bail or early release, which likely let the alleged Charlotte killer out of jail 14 times. Democratic politicians often point out that crime is down in most major cities. You can make statistics say whatever you want. Team Trump has already caught on to that. A Trump advisor told Axios this morning, crime is not a data thing, it's a feeling thing. Politicians don't understand that it's about how you feel when you walk on the subway platform. Right now, Americans don't feel safe. Gallup polling for March, 75% of Americans worry a great deal or a fair amount about crime. 67% of Americans were somewhat or very dissatisfied with the nation's policies to reduce crime. Right now, Americans feel like crime is spiraling out of control. And now we can finally have an honest conversation about it without being called racist.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.